Hi everyone, it's Brooklyn. You're watching another Supernatural review, and this is season 7, episode 11, Adventures in Babysitting. If you're new here, I do a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. So this episode, I felt like started off not good, like it wasn't not good as for the beginning. Then over time, it just got better, and so like I almost put it on the worst list, but then I didn't because I think in the end it's an okay episode. And even though like it did get better over time, and like I feel like the ending was like stronger, like it's still like that's not good. Like you need to have you don't want it to go bad to worse, or no, you don't want it to go bad to good. You want the entire episode to be good. And I actually feel like we've been getting a few episodes like this lately in the season. Like I'm not really remembering like past seasons. Like I feel like it's more recent where, you know, like the beginning of the episode's not strong, but then it gets better. And I talked about how like season 6 the writing wasn't good, and I feel like season 7 the writing is getting better. Obviously going bad to better doesn't necessarily show the writing skills, but it's something where it's like maybe the beginning episode, like they have to do this thing, they have to set up in this way, and so they try to do the best they could, and it's not strong, but because the writing is a little bit stronger this season, they were able to at least have it be a little bit stronger towards the end. Maybe that's what it is. So last episode Bobby died, and that was a very emotional episode, and it's kind of like, what do you do the next episode? Like what do you do with when their dad died? The next episode was like a really funny episode with like, you know, touches of sadness, and like I talked about in my last video, like Dean smashing the car. And so like I feel like that's smart to like have the next episode after like a heavy episode after someone they really cared died. Like it's smart to have the next episode be like a comedy and funny, and this wasn't exactly that. Like I feel like what they should have done is like the next like episode after this heavy episode is to just like have a nice like case that they're hunting and all this stuff, but it wasn't that. I think what like they went into different directions. Like Dean, I don't even know what he was doing, that guy. Like they were just trying to do some higher than research, while Sam went to go help this girl with something with like the hunter and the life. And so like I don't know, like I feel like if they wanted to do this episode, like maybe they could have waited another episode. Like I feel like it wasn't the smart move to do after the episode before, and maybe that was like why the episode wasn't strong at the beginning, because they like are still dealing with what they were doing the episode before, and it wasn't like the right move of like what they were doing this episode. Also like Sam and Dean going their separate ways, whenever we see that in Supernatural, it's not that strong. Like they're stronger together having the same storyline, and like I can't think of any time in Supernatural when they go their separate ways where it is strong. Like I think like in season 1 the Scarecrow episode, they kind of go their separate ways, and like it's okay, like it's actually a pretty good episode. But I feel like other times when they go their separate ways, like for one, it doesn't last long, and clearly it didn't. And it's not something where they were like fighting and they went their separate ways. It was just something that, I don't know, maybe it was like the writers thought it was like a way for them to cope. It's just kind of go their separate ways, have two different storylines. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I think what helped at the end is that Dean is just so much better with kids than Sam. I'm sorry, Sam, but it's something, I don't know, it's just like who he is, and like whatever, like Dean's just always been that one that's like better when there's like kids in Supernatural. Like Dean's just always been that one. And so like I don't know, it's like with Sam is just not as good with kids or whatever, but like I don't know, I think that just like really helped the episode is when Dean finally went to help that girl. You know, him like being with, you know, interacting with kids is just so much better and so much stronger in every way. I mean, it's a little bit crazy what she was doing and all that stuff, and all the stuff about like being hunters and getting out, and I think that was like also the writers trying to deal with like what they just had the episode before about like, you know, trying to get it out. Like they try to tie things in together where it's like you don't need to do that, just like let it be. I don't think it was like overly tied in together, but it's still like whatever. And like I do remember this girl. Like obviously I don't remember before this like everything that happens in the season, but like when this episode started, I was like, I remember this girl. Like she was in a few other shows. I always remember her. I think she's actually in another episode of Supernatural like in the future. I'm forgetting when that happens or like what the episode's really about. I thought it was like 3 kid hunters doing something. I don't remember, but this episode was episodic, I guess, because there was like technically a hunt even though it wasn't like the most of the episode. I don't know. I do feel like some of the stuff where Dean was like with that guy like kind of was a little bit funny, but it's just like, I don't know, like that part felt more serialized, obviously, because like the Lithiads and stuff. And it was like, was this really necessary to do it in this episode? Like, why would you have this like episodic plot, whatever, and like have this like weird serialization that's like in the first half, but like only Dean's storyline? It just like feels a little bit off. It doesn't feel like a structure of a Supernatural episode. I feel like that's important to point out. Like, Supernatural has like really good structured like episodic episodes, and serialized it's a little bit more all over the place. But that's the thing, is this is like an episodic episode. Like, technically it is episodic, but it like didn't fit like their structure for episodic episodes. Does that make sense? I don't know if maybe it's just the writers, because they did want to separate the two brothers, so they were like, let's have like Dean's storyline be a little bit more serialized. Like, I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like it was the wrong move to have them be separate in this episode after what happened in the last episode, and they should have been together and more unified and all this stuff. So I don't know what else to say, so I'm gonna end it here. But it's kind of like an okay episode, and I feel like we're getting a lot lately. Like, there's been a lot more like okay episodes, like not necessarily strong episodes, not necessarily bad episodes, like some that I'm just like okay, and like I'm not sure what to do. Like, do I put on the wish list, do I not? Because like they're okay, but they're not like bad, so it's like, what do you do with that? Anyway, I'm gonna end it here. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.